and the management of that border that is at question?
Well, it doesn't sound like it if I have to believe the FT article. It's about the substance, not about the interpretation. So again...
Of course, all this would be resolved if there were a free trade agreement. Can you see that being struck, given the state of things at the moment?
Well, first, I'm not sure that all of this would be superseded by a free trade agreement, because then again, there's no way around the fact that Northern Ireland needs to have a specific status. And of course, if the entire United Kingdom were to be part of the EU customs zone, then indeed it would obliterate the need for the withdrawal agreement, but that is not the intention of the British government, and I recognize that. That means that there will be different treatment from Northern Ireland than the rest of the UK, no matter what. That's number one. Number two, if you want to strike an agreement with anyone, I do not think it's a good idea to hint at the possibility that you might actually not abide by past agreements with the same partner. In other terms, basically, if the message that you convey is that the validity of your signature is only worth something as long as it's politically expedient to keep promises, then of course you reduce the trust of your that the other partner might have in you to zero, and that is basically what the British government is doing by playing that kind of game.
Thank you very much. Conservative Party leader, prominent Brexiteer, Senior Duncan Smith, joins us. Good afternoon. And can we start with that last point made by certainly by the outrage that this has triggered across the EU? It would appear to be at the least a poor negotiating tactic that this is being at best hinted at.
Well, I don't know that it is particularly negotiating tactics. The government's got to bring forward its details of this, which is exactly what they said they would do. I mean, it doesn't suit people like Philip Blair, of course, because they're on the other side and they're going to make a huge fuss about this. All the rest of it to be expected in negotiations. This is going to happen, particularly as we're getting close to the end. But the point I would make is this provision that the government's talking about is there already in the agreement, so that when we introduce the bill giving force to the agreement, clause 38 says very explicitly in terms that nothing can negate against the sovereignty of the UK Parliament and the UK. And that's quite important. That means that all the other areas will be spelled out as to how that affects it. So that's point number one. The second point about all of this is the withdrawal agreement itself has got some very serious caveats. So the state aid issue, which no one seems to explain, has only come up because the Northern Ireland arrangement allows the European Union, unseen by them and by the UK at the time, they're now insisting on it, that anything in the UK which is not part of that zone, anything in the UK that's produced by a company or arrangement could go through Northern Ireland. Therefore, they are claiming the right to impose state aid provisions on the whole of the UK's production capacity, which is quite intolerable. And that's what this is really all about.
Okay, but it does seem, to use Faisal Islam's words, a strange hill for, well, not least for your government to die on. State aid, I mean, is that what you're fighting? Is a free trade agreement foundering on the fact that you want to support subsidised companies?
No, it's not foundering on that at all. Faisal's got that wrong. In fact, this is an issue of sovereignty. This is, we are a sovereign country, as Professor Chapman's here.
Okay, but just so we can understand it, it's sort of, so, I mean, maybe it's the principle of the thing, it's the right, but is it the right to even not offer state aid?
No, it's the right to make the decision yourself as an elected government. We left the European Union where we had given that right to the European Union. We've taken it back with a lot of other powers, as we said. But the UK government, whatever their political hue, have the right to make these decisions. One of the areas that is critically in dispute, which again hasn't been mentioned, is the EU's ambitions to bring taxation into the state aids area. So that means the government may wish to put a tax on companies, startups, etc., would find itself, if it wasn't careful, trapped in what the EU does. So the EU makes its own decisions and then imposes them on the UK. That's not the process for a sovereign nation. What we want to do is up to us.
Indeed, but therefore, if the effect of state aid in Northern Ireland via this protocol has this reach across, as you're saying, across Great Britain, should the UK ever have signed the Northern Ireland Protocol?
Well, it's interpreted what that is. And of course, the problem for the EU is that they always say that European justice is the only body that could interpret European law. What the UK government says, that was never the intention at the time of the WA. That in regard to that, it was always based on what was in Northern not all the rest of the UK. The UK isn't party to that, so the UK industries cannot be caught under what the EU says about Northern Ireland. That's where the dispute comes. But it's wider than one issue. There's much wider. The disputes are bigger than this. They're to do with the EU insisting now that we accept fully all their regulations and align ourselves with those no matter where they go in the future. Take, for example, financial services. They give you put on the table an offer to accommodate them through enhanced equivalence of regulations. They rejected that. They've got an equivalent
Forgive me for
with the United
interrupting,
States.
Eddie, but forgive me for interrupting. We are coming back, though, to the question of the position of Northern Ireland and where the border is. It's appearing that we didn't resolve it last time, and we're unlikely to resolve the inherent contradictions in it this time, given what you're saying.
No, I think it's quite feasible to resolve this. The UK government has already put down on the table in terms of arrangements plan, which is completely feasible and allows the EU to operate without any great restrictions at the border and makes the ease of operation between Northern Ireland and the UK much easier as well. The other proposal that's been put forward is that we become responsible on this side of the border to necessarily impose any of the regulatory changes, the things that are required for exports to the EU, which would also work. But the EU has constantly refused to accept any of that. So when it comes down to the details, if you remember, you might remember, but in the broad agreement, it's quite clear that the whole Article 184 says it imposes an obligation on the EU and the UK to use their best take the necessary steps to negotiate the agreement to govern their future relationship. It doesn't just refer to the issue about trade, it's about the future relationship, which is as much political as it is trade. So I think it's quite reasonable of the government to want to give that some shape.
Thank you. The Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, has warned that the UK could see a second spike in coronavirus cases if young people don't follow social distancing rules. It follows a jump in the latest number of infections, with nearly 3,000 new cases announced yesterday. A third of all cases in England last week were people aged between 20 and 29. Here's what Mr. Hancock told Radio Quick.
The message to everybody of any age: the risk of spreading it to others, and especially others who are older and therefore highly vulnerable to the disease, that risk is real. Sticking to the social distancing rules is incredibly important. The question is, how much are you willing to risk the lives of yourself and others by breaking the social distancing rules? You know, don't build your ground by catching coronavirus and then passing it on. And you can pass it on before you've had any symptoms at all.
A school in Suffolk has closed. So far, 8 staff at the Sanford Ward Academy in Haverhill have tested positive. Andrew Hunter is the head teacher.
We opened last Tuesday for staff, and then we opened gradually students over the remainder of the week. We had the first notification of a positive test on Friday morning, at which point quick internal tracking trace and asked some other people to go home and get tested. And then over the course of the weekend, I was made aware of a number of the positive tests.
So how many teaching staff have tested positive now?
No teaching staff, they're all local support systems able to test positive.
And as a result, you've closed the school.
Yes, the situation yesterday was that we were trying to ascertain who would be in close proximity with these people and therefore would need to self-isolate. And of course over the weekend that's a very difficult thing to do.
Would it have been possible to keep the school open with the remainder of the staff now?
Over the course of the day, we've been checking people's contacts with people who tested positive and actually anyone who feels that they might be within the government-prescribed distances to go and have tests. So we've currently got a quite significant number of staff who've tested today and we're awaiting their results. So it would have been extremely difficult to open the school today with any certainty that we were putting everyone at further risk.
And when do you hope to reopen the school?
I'm meeting this afternoon with Public Health England and Suffolk County Council and we'll be taking a decision on that then. But principally, as soon as we possibly can, in safety.
Are you presuming that these staff were infected during the holidays before school started?
It looks a lot as if somebody was infected before the school started and brought the infection in. But all the people who've been infected are strict procedures in place for social distancing, both around the schools and meetings, and yet it seems that there's been some transmission.
So you think it happened even with strict procedures in place?
I can't rule out that might be what happened.
Head teacher at Samuel Ward Academy. Well, the 2,988 new cases announced yesterday.